discussing kind of the hot topics of the week with everything Bravo. And I'm Genevieve Melzer, and this is Sonia. And Sonia,
Hi.
tell them who you are, I guess, on Instagram and
Yeah,
TikTok.
I'm TikTok first, just booking around. I'm here on YouTube at Bravo Bravo Books and Bravo. I listen to every podcast, radio show about Bravo, and then I post clips of it on TikTok and here on YouTube.
Yeah, and we love discussing this because we're both consuming so much Bravo content, but we're not just consuming it, we're also critically thinking, which a lot of people don't do. So that's why our take is a little bit different than everyone else's. Okay, so let's start with Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, and I want you to start it off.
Okay, so they started, I want to say earlier this week. The crew started in OC, and from listening to Kyle's Amazon Live earlier this week, it seems like it started with 80s themed party. And Tamara mentioned the
Yes.
same thing on her podcast that there was an 80s themed party, but interesting, nothing leaked. We saw video footage of them going onto a yacht. Kyle did Instagram picture with her hair and the wild curls, and that's all we heard from OC. So no idea who was there or anything, just that Tamara was there. So then the white party, now everything. So Kyle held a white party like she's known for doing in Beverly Hills. Everything is being leaked from this white party today. I think it started with Kyle's daughter, Sophia, did a
Yes.
TikTok saying, I just got home, I'm in my slippers, but there's a party going on in my backyard. And Luann is coming in on a zip line, singing on the stage. So then today, then that was taken down. So a couple of creators caught that, but then that Sophia's TikTok was taken down. Now, today, all sorts of things are being just not even leaked, just shown. Luann put out an Instagram reel of her performing there. Pictures. I think Camille posted about Eileen was there. Everyone's just posting pictures of
Eileen.
everyone that was there. I mean, everyone from Beverly Hills. Teddy said on her podcast that she was there. Faye Resnick was there. Heather McDonald, my favorite
I saw
podcaster, was
that.
there.
Yes.
Yes. Did you see anything that's come out?
Just like little snippets like that. My question to you is you had said, I didn't know that it was going to be like this. And what did you mean by that? Or what were you expecting this girls' trip to be that now it's not?
I actually thought it was going to be like the Salt Lake City Sprinter van trip at the very beginning of this last season. I really thought that they were going to be going around in a van. So on Andy Cohen's radio show, John Hill has asked Andy so many times, what is the mode of transportation? What is the mode? Because you would think like the old MTV show Road Rules, it was all about going around in the van.
Yes.
But I'm starting to wonder if it is not about the mode of transportation. It is about the events in each city and going all out in each city, but maybe we don't necessarily know how they're going. They're just getting on a plane. I don't know. What
Yeah.
did you think?
Well, I was interested in that too. Oh, also, Dojo Drama said you guys are matching, and we
Yes.
unintentionally matched, and we're also matching her curtains.
Yes, we are, JoJo.
I thought you were right. I thought it was going to be put all these really famous, fancy women on a bus and like watch the drama. But now it seems like it's like let's film them on the bus a little bit, and probably they're staying at like the Four Seasons or something. You know what I mean? I feel
Yes.
like they get their space, they're being paid well. It does seem like we are finding out a lot more stuff. So are we going to see stuff every step of the way? Also, how come Erica Jane didn't perform at the white party? Just saying, I'm just
Oh,
saying, like,
yes.
isn't she an integral part of Beverly Hills? And,
Yes. Maybe she
Luann,
was
of
DJing for
course.
Luann.
Oh, now that's yeah. Oh, and then we have to talk about the Portia of it all because Portia posted on her, not even her story, she actually posted it on her grid that was like, you tell people to, I don't know, what it was it like,
No, I know what you mean, but I don't remember
I
the
know I'm
actual
like,
wording of it. Yeah, it
she's
was they
like,
tell you who you are, or something like that.
yeah, like they tell
Yeah.
you, you go get people. I'm the one that they go get, like, don't F with me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we already know there's drama happening. And I
But
mean,
wait, remember who else posted that? You did a TikTok on
yes,
this.
Gigi Gonessa, because you told me that. So they both posted it within like an hour of each other too, which
Yeah.
was
So I
even
did,
stranger.
yeah.
And
I
then
don't know if there was a bigger meaning to it. Was
I
it
don't know
micro
either.
in that it was supposedly people are saying it was she's having issues with Vicky, or I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
apparently she doesn't follow Vicky. We don't know if she unfollowed her or she never followed her. Other guesses were that Lisa Barlow had maybe gotten into her because Lisa goes the distance. Lisa calls her legal team, you know? So I don't
mhm.
know. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I feel like we're just going to continue to see a lot more about Ultimate Girls Trip like every day.
Did you see Portia did a video today? And it's, I guess maybe it's in their hotel of all the ladies doing this dance. Guys, if you want to comment and tell me what this dance was, I don't know what they were doing. But it was
Oh,
like, remember in the Ultimate Girls Trip, the first one when they were on whatever island and they did that one dance with Melissa? And then you
yes.
see Vicky and Ramon. It was one of those things. And Vicky's on the side in her sweats, and then she just kind of gets out of the scene. You have to go look at that.
Okay, okay. I feel like they're gonna do a dance where like one of them is like this and one of them goes like that and the other one goes like right, something like that.
It was something they
Okay.
were all doing the same move, so you can like see Portia and Giselle doing it and like the right way to do it, and then Vicky on the other end, and then just it ends up out of the frame.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be really interesting to see who clicks, who doesn't like each other. And okay, so there is a little bit of some other really big news that happened this week. And I know you kind of had a different angle though of talking about Kyle and Amanda. I think we've all heard that yes, they have split. I posted a video where and people were like, well, that's the business. Apparently, Loverboy was in millions of dollars of debt and they don't have a prenup. So I'm wondering how that impacts their divorce. But somebody had commented and said, well, it only like the business will just go bankrupt. It won't impact the two of them. So I'm wondering like is this the end of Loverboy?
Well, there's so much conflicting information. So it seemed that Kyle had wanted a prenup in the beginning. He claims that it was his investors that wanted it. But then there's been talk since then that he has not had investors, that it's all him that has a stake at Loverboy. And then Amanda was in a podcast this last summer. Who was the one guy from The Bachelor? He has a finance podcast. Jason Tardik. And she was
Oh.
on Jason Tardik, and she had told him that after they didn't get the prenup, and she said this was in June, so I don't know where they were in regards to divorce, but she said that I advise every woman to get a prenup. Do not go into a marriage without a prenup. And then she said after they got married, she got equity in the company. She's not sure exactly how it works, but she did get equity. And then someone was saying that Amanda has a trust, or her dad, or her grandfather.
Oh.
So her dad was wanting the prenup to protect that money. So
Oh, so she already had money, and actually, Loverboy and Kyle might just be kind of dragging her down.
yeah, but I think in a divorce, if it is an inheritance, you can't split that money. But I don't know how a trust is different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, yeah, I don't know how this financially is going to w- work out. But how does you think the timing of this all? It was announced. When do you think that they actually got divorced or separated?
I think it was they were already separated at BravoCon in November, right? Because we had heard,
Hmm.
didn't Dumois have, a blind about how they were living separately? They weren't living together anymore. And when I went to the Summer House panel at BravoCon, and I think I did. I can't remember, but I think I did. And it was just weird. The two of them, like they were
Way
sitting
apart?
together. They were
Oh,
acting
okay.
together. Yeah, they were sitting. No, they were sitting next to each other. They're acting like they were together, but it felt a
Mm.
little off.
Well, and it's interesting because afterwards, so the timing of it is all very odd. So
Yes.
it's an
Yeah.
Instagram story, it's not a post. So
Right.
I'm assuming that there were issues during Summer House, then the spin-off films, and according to like Dumois and Bravo and Cocktails, Amanda moved out around the time of BravoCon for December, November. She moved out. So remember in all of December, there were all these claims like she moved out, and then they were
Hmm.
doing
Hmm.
videos of them like in the little doghouse. No, we live together, which fine, you signed NDAs because of the show, you can't say anything. And then Kyle's going off on his DJ tour. So then why all of a sudden this week I wondered if something was going to come out. One of them was with somebody else on a date or something, and Dumois
Yeah.
or somebody had pictures, and they wanted to do it before those photos come out. Because otherwise, when does Summer House even premiere?
No, that's a great point. I think it might premiere next month. I think it's February or it's March. I think it might be February. But yeah, I'm wondering too, because aren't they supposed to kind of keep it all under wraps until it does air? And so this was random. And I think you're right. There's a motivation behind it. Right? There
Yeah.
has to be. There has
Yes,
to
there
be
has to be.
something bigger, or, like, I was even thinking, like, is there, like, a brand deal or, like, like, a magazine? Because I
Yeah.
then Amanda just posted, like, a new, like, Amanda Swim, like, where she posted a new something about that, and I was like, "Oh, is this, like, I don't know, like, don't you do those big things when you have, like, a big
Oh,
brand
yes.
launcher?
You're
Like,
gonna Mhm.
I don't know, but, I mean, it's just a swimwear laundry, another swim
Yeah, but
something.
that's why you would think that they would announce it the week that the show was premiering.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
The
Just
only thing I could
wait.
think of, yeah, is Kyle being on tour and Amanda's not there, and they didn't want. It doesn't seem that big of a deal though, but they just didn't want the noise of people saying, "Oh, where's
Mhm.
Amanda? Where's Amanda?" And so they just put it out.
And maybe also he's on tour, he might be hooking up with young
Oh, that's
ladies, and they
true.
don't want you that kinda chatter either, so they're like, "Let's just announce it."
Instead of, "What are you doing here without Amanda?"
Yeah, and like, "Oh, we got photos of you kissing on this girl," or whatever.
Okay, so I have to ask you, where
Yeah,
do you think will happen with Amanda and Hannah and Paige? Like all this, the friendship, everybody wants them back together as
yeah.
besties on Love Hotel. Do you think that bond is still there? Was it ever there with Hannah and Amanda?
You know, recently, remember when Paige was like, "My 2 best friends hate each other, like, I can't
Hmm.
even have a bachelorette party because of this," and I remember they showed I don't know if they showed a clip. I think they showed a clip of Hannah. She was very, like, she went hard after Kyle. Like, she wasn't just like, "Oh, you should," like, "He sucks," or like, "I'm here for you if you wanna leave him." She was like, "You ew," like, like, she really was against Kyle. And so, I wonder if maybe it's too far gone to reconcile?
I agree. I agree. And somebody did a video saying that if you watch the older episodes, Hannah and Amanda were never that close.
Mhm.
Amanda didn't like the way Hannah was with Luke and the way that relationship played out.
Yeah.
I think Hannah doesn't necessarily like Kyle because Hannah's talked about her father being her tennis coach and how he was so hard on her, so hard. And I wonder if there's something about Kyle that reminds her of that intensity because she's talked a little bit about being a female in the tennis world and the struggles and all people always on her. And there's something about Kyle that would bring that
Uh-huh.
out of her, like bring
Yeah,
that
yeah.
trigger her in that way. But I don't see them. But someone also said, "Are how close are Hannah and Paige now?"
Oh, well, they're Hannah and
Not Hannah and
Paige.
Paige. Sorry,
Oh, I was like,
Amanda and
they're
Paige.
very
Amanda,
close.
yeah, they're very close. Get
I
close.
think
Amanda and
they're
Paige. How close are
still
they?
very close. I mean, they're not photographed together just because she's not on the show, but hopefully they're still close. But yeah, I interested to see if I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I remember them on the show too, and they were never as close as like Paige was with Amanda or that Paige was with Hannah. And I think also it's like Paige knows how to kind of run that line. Like she knew what she had to do to stay on this show, be friends with
Yeah,
Kyle and Amanda. And Hannah just could not do that for the life of her, even to be on the show. And then also, if you remember, like Hannah has been very vocal about how she was like booted off the show because the people with the drink company didn't want her on it.
yeah,
And that's Kyle. And, just a lot of bad blood there.
yeah, yeah. If there wasn't a basic foundation there in the beginning, I don't know that there's anything to salvage.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now let's segue into another couple. We're not sure if they're a couple, but doesn't it appear that Austen from Southern Charm and Sally from Southern Charm could be an item?
Yes. Yes. So there's been a couple of TikToks, Instagram Reel videos There was one when it was Madison and her husband and baby Teddy, and
Mhm.
then Austen and Sally were sitting across the table from them, right? And what
Yes.
were they doing? They
They
were,
were like it was like singles versus the married couple, and so, like, they fed the baby, and they're, like, feeding Sally, like, wine, and they, like, took shots, and the baby, they were, like, burping the baby or something like that, but that kinda started the
yes.
speculation, and then she was on Watch What Happens Live, and she says, "I talk to Austin every day." Okay, that's open up for interpretation, right? And then the latest
Yes.
post we saw was Madison, was it Rodrigo, Austin, and Sally? And
Yeah.
Sally had her hand, looks like it could be like on his
Hmm.
thigh in the picture. They're
Yes.
just very close. They're very snuggly.
Yes. It looks like it. It seems like it.
It
I
looks
also
like
wouldn't hold
it
it
to me.
against
Yeah.
him if they were doing some sort of PR stunt. Like Sally and
Oh,
Charlie want to stay on this show. From
mm-hmm.
looking at their social media, they're both doing the rounds, doing the podcast circuits. You always see them fully done up, dressed, and I've noticed they're having a lot of events going out, and it's the whole cast together. You don't typically see
Oh,
that. And there's a
yeah.
lot of just, you know how with OC recently we've been seeing the teams posting
Yes.
together at events. It seems like the whole cast, which are they getting along that well to where they're constantly on these events?
Good question. And I was actually going to say there's something so nice about Southern Charm right now. I feel like they're in a really good position, or I don't know, it's very entertaining. And then I was wondering, is it because they're actually friends? Like they just had
Ooh.
Rodrigo and Tyler's engagement party, right? And I actually felt like, yes, Madison, really their friend. Austin, really their friend. Molly, really their friend. You know what I mean? And it did just kind of feel like a group of friends getting together and hanging out, and less like we handpicked these people to be in this
Mhm.
reality show because we think that'll be dramatic. And there's something really special about a real group of friends.
No, that's absolutely right. And did you notice one person that was at that Rodrigo's at the engagement party? Do you remember Bailey from like season one? I think I'll have to find her for you. I think Chef
Okay.
went out on a date with her, maybe season one, season two. I think she was maybe a hairdresser. She seemed in the crowd, friends with everyone. Like maybe I want to say one or two episodes. I just remembered her. She's very
Okay.
beautiful, very striking. She was at this party. Like Charleston really
Wow.
is a small
Yeah.
town. So then I was trying to see if there's anyone else I noticed, but I think it is a small town and that they all kind of really know each other. One thing I totally forgot. I caught this at the very end of the episode. Where was Wit? Was he at the party?
Oh, that's what I was wondering too, because when I went to watch the after show, he was like the little icon, and I was like, "Oh my God, Whitner, you weren't even in this episode." And I'm like, "That's not good. You want at least
Yeah.
one scene." And
But
then
so he
yeah,
was. He was
he
in the bar at
was?
the very end. Yeah, I noticed it was going by.
Oh.
It was like the camera panning across, and I'm like, "Hey, there's Whitner. Was he?" And then I realized, wait, he wasn't in the episode. Did he ride the bus with them over, or did he maybe just meet them at the bar after?
Mm.
So then I started, my conspiracy thinking was like, are they trying to edit him out like that one guy on Summer House that would eat all the ground turkey? Remember, they just like stopped putting it. He was there, but they didn't show him. I'm like, did they do that to Whitner? Surely not.
Well, then you told me that you were listening to a podcast with Charlie, and that she said that she's closest with Whitner?
Yeah, she didn't elaborate, but she's like, Kate Casey's podcast and was asking, like, who do you get along with? She's like, Whitner is kind of my best friend from the show. We talk regularly, which is weird
Hmm.
after we saw the clip, the flashback of Whitner asking her out. And she's
Mhm.
like, maybe it's a group thing. And maybe at the time she was hoping Craig was going to ask her out. But then Sally made that comment on Watch What Happens Live saying, you guys really don't know Whitner.
Yes.
Remember? And then
Yes.
Charlie just made that face like laughing, like, oh my gosh, she said that.
Yes. Yes. And so then that made us think that, okay, there's something wrong with Whitner. And then there was like a Reddit thread that came out that that maybe he was just like playing video games and he wasn't very motivated. And that's why the girlfriend left. And then somebody else said, no, the girlfriend was cheating on him the whole time. And then someone else said, no, that's a lie. So you don't really know what to believe.
No.
in the after show, I thought it was really interesting because they were saying, "Oh, well, Charlie is so naive. She just seems like so naive." And I'm like, I feel that from her too, right? And Sally
Yeah.
was like, "No, I don't think she is." And Molly was, oh, and also the after show pairings are very strange because it's
It
Sally
is.
and Molly, which I kind of felt like they were going up against each other
Yes.
this season. So
Yes.
I'm like, why are they together? Then it's Benita and Charlie, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. It's weird. It's odd. And
Yeah.
so I just felt she was like, "No, she knows what she was doing. Like, she's not naive." And I'm like, "This
Yeah.
girl just showed in this episode that she is basically so afraid of upsetting Sally, her friend. She's like so afraid to
Mhm.
even go on this date. She's like feels bad. She, like is yeah, I was just like, "Oh my god, this poor girl."
Yeah. Sally's also from the pageant world, so I would imagine she's seen some things. She knows what competitiveness is. Listening to her on the podcast, like it was a different format. She went to Clemson University. She seems very intelligent, a very good
Mhm.
speaker. But you're right. She could be someone that's a people pleaser. Just like in that
Charlie,
one scene with
yeah.
Molly. Yeah, Charlie, when that one scene with Molly, everyone's got the ending with the EY, so it throws me
I
off.
know, Sally, Charlie, Molly, like, okay. Madison, okay,
Which
thanks.
that I know. What do you
Benita.
think of Molly or in that when they were doing the little like crunching the tiles or whatever and they're popping everywhere in that scene? I couldn't gauge her because here's Charlie, she's crying. I don't want to upset Sally, and here's Molly with her little whatever those clippers were going, "Aw," clip, and then the way they produced it, the music.
Yes.
Like, are you really sympathetic? Are you? I couldn't gauge
No.
what she was thinking there.
I felt like Molly was like, "No, like don't feel bad about Sally, like you need to like live your life and just kind of be you." And Charlie just seems so like, "Oh, I'm afraid of upsetting her." And it's like, "Yeah, well, I guess she like brought you on the show or they want everyone to think they brought on the show cuz now,
Oh,
it's like on Housewives, it's like, "Oh, this is my friend, da da da," and it's like you two have you met each other once, like you're not
yeah,
the friend. I it's just so I'm like,
yeah.
wait, were you cast or actually did you know Sally before this?
And it could have been cast, but they kind of generally know each other
That's
through Charleston,
true.
right?
Yeah, it's such
Because
a
wasn't
small
she at
town.
the whatever the Craig was the judge at
Yes.
some contest, and we saw that episode, didn't we? I was on
I
the
guess
boat
we
where
saw
Catherine
like
goes
a
running.
oh, is that what it was? Is that when
I
he
I
was
don't
the
know why
judge?
in my mind those are connected.
Okay.
Maybe I'm misthinking. Maybe that was when the boys were models. Maybe I'm getting it confused because wasn't there
Oh, I
somewhere where the boys were
remember
models and
that.
where they
Yes.
were auctioned
Remember?
off or something?
Yes. And Shep was so upset because Craig got auctioned off for way more than
Yes,
him, and Shep could like barely get auctioned off. That is like classic Southern charm.
yes. I don't know why
Class.
I'm connecting that episode to the when Craig was the judge because that was a long time
That
ago.
was a long time
Okay, I have to
ago.
look that up now. I have to look up
Okay.
what year it was because also how old is Charlie?
She
26?
gives, yeah, she gives me 26 or 28 kind of energy, right? Like she's young. She's a lot younger than them.
So
Like than
that
the
pageant could have
men.
been, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
chef, yeah.
The chef keeps getting older and the girls keep getting
Getting
younger.
younger.
It's like dazed and confused.
Did you
Um,
see Shep's face when they're over at Craig's house and he was grilling or whatever, and Craig's saying, "I'm gonna hang out with Charlie," and he's like a date? Yeah. And he wouldn't show anything, but
aw.
you knew what he was thinking. Like he
Yeah,
was
because
like,
he really
you know,
wanted that to be him. And then
yes,
let's talk about Audrey because
yes,
she was so sweet. I felt so bad for her when Austin's like, she's like, Sally didn't say hi to me like many times. And then Austin was like, goes up to Sally and doesn't say anything about that. It's just like, hey, Sally.
I know. I think he was just so drunk. He even said, "I have to stop
Yeah.
talking." I think it was clear, you're drinking. It's clear you don't want to be with her long term with
Mhm,
Audrey, right?
mhm.
And Sally's exciting. Sally's new. Let me go see what
Yeah.
she's doing. Meanwhile, the way they edited it, there's Audrey
I know.
just
It
sitting
was
down by
edited
herself.
so bad
I
because I could
know.
feel, like, her pain in that moment, and I hope that okay, after whatever's gonna go down, because 'cause I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen in the next episode, I want Audrey to get on a podcast. I want her to
Yes.
spill the tea of, like, the things he was telling her at home or whatever, so why she thought, I'm sure she thought
Yeah.
that they were, like, invested in this relationship, and
Oh yeah.
then you know,
She's so sweet. I think Sally and like they're in a different world. I don't
yeah,
think that that is a game that she even needs to play to be a part of. Seeing that way he's treating her, what Austin's treating her, and what him going over there with Sally, she should just be like, "I'm out.
yeah,
I'm out."
yeah,
Because you saw the previews for next week when you just see the hands flying and they're talking. I'm like, Audrey, get in the car and go
yes,
home. Just go back to
yeah,
where's she from? Charlotte. Go back to Charlotte.
yeah, and
Don't
don't
give him any
I
time.
know that they want that conversation on the show, but
Yeah,
maybe not when he's been, like, heavily drinking. You know
I
what I mean?
know.
Like, let's not
Oh
have that
yeah.
conversation right now. Let's not do
No.
that.
It
But
was a
yeah,
good
I feel
episode.
agreed. I think Southern Charm is like on all cylinders right now. Let's switch gears and let's talk about Traitors. And we won't do any spoilers for the latest episode because I know some people still haven't seen it, and that's okay. Um, what do we want to start though? There's a lot to discuss on
There is a lot.
Traitors.
There is a lot.
Yes.
Um, well, how do you like the casting of the traders? Let's start from like very beginning.
Okay. I was really excited about a few of them, like Lisa Renna. I love her, so I'm glad to see her. But
Yes,
in my
same.
head, I'm like, oh, well, she's going to be a traitor. And I was listening to the podcast because you said it was really good, so I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. And I don't usually listen to Nick Vile, which
No.
but Brittany Haynes was
Brittany
on,
Haynes.
and she
Yeah.
was on Traitors. Was it last season?
I think it
Yes.
was the last season.
Yeah,
She
I
was
think it was
on
last
Big Bro
season.
when I used to watch Big Brother.
Yes.
She
Oh,
was on.
okay.
She's a gamer. Like she's a
Yeah.
gamer and she's a personality.
Right. And she was talking about, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about any of this stuff. And she was saying, when you watch Traders, you should be thinking like a producer. And she's like, who would the producers want to make a trader? And so Lisa Renna is an obvious choice. I also
Yeah.
think Candace is an obvious choice as
Mhm.
well. And so when those two were traders, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. And then
Yeah.
Rob from Love Island, I thought that was a good choice because I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect him.
No. Some people are saying that they don't like that the traders are getting along so well, that they
Oh
liked it
yeah.
last season when there was all the drama and they started going behind each other's back. I actually like them. Like I'm liking that bond. I don't know how long it's gonna last,
Yeah.
but I'm liking them being so close and having each other's backs. Like they're coming up and tell, oh, so I heard so and so say your name. I heard, protecting each other.
Yeah.
Because Rob did a good job. Who was it that brought up Lisa's name at the end of the
Oh,
last episode?
was it Colton?
It might have been Colton.
I
Wait,
think it
didn't
was
Monet
Colton.
Exchange bring up her name too, or did he bring up
Monet
Candace?
did and then got the boot. You're out of
Yes,
here.
yes.
Yes. And
But they were so
so
supportive of that. I felt like last season, if a trader's name was brought up, they wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have been like, well, we don't
oh
necessarily need to
no.
take them out.
Well, and it does say that you are supposed to protect your fellow traitor, so you're not supposed to go after each other, right? They did
Oh,
it said that at some point, like when you take the traitor oath, like do you want to
okay.
protect your other traitor? Which I noticed this time because I was like, yeah, last season those traitors just went after each other. But also it's like not really fair because then at the end you could just be like, well, you're voting me up. Guess what? She's a traitor right before I leave,
I
you know?
right,
And so
right.
it's not really fair. I don't know. Also, some of the logistical stuff. I would listen
Yeah.
to MJ. She was on Humble Brag with Crystal
Hmm.
Minkoff and Cynthia Nixon, right? I'm like
Yeah. Yeah.
Cynthia
Wait,
Bailey. Oh my
no.
gosh,
Cynthia
Cynthia
Nixon's
Bailey.
Sex in the
Cynthia.
City.
Sorry. Okay, Cynthia Bailey. And
Yes.
she was okay. She was like talking a lot about like, okay, you wake up, they leave a little like meal outside your door, and they're like, oh, because you guys stay at a hotel. And MJ goes, I don't remember that part. That's the part I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think we stayed at the castle, and I was like, "Oh, well," I remember Tamara saying in a podcast that they stayed
Hmm.
at a hotel. My question is, because I told my boyfriend too, I was like, "Well, they stayed at a hotel." And he was like, "Well, how
Yeah.
do they not talk to each other?" And I'm like, "Well, they don't." Like, I'm like, "Do they stay at different hotels? Is it like how are they not sneaking out to, like,
I
talk to
would
each
imagine
other?"
production, it's like being on a jury, right? I would imagine
Yes.
production is tight with keeping them all separated. A lot have said how there's not even TV or internet, or
Mhm.
you're watching specific shows maybe, like you don't know what's going on, you can't go on the internet, so you can't text, you can get books. Um,
Oh.
Dorinda was on a podcast saying that it's not even a functioning castle. That her first husband was from Scotland, I believe, and
Oh.
that something about his family owned that castle. So I can't remember exactly. She's like, it is not functioning. There's not food there. I guess it's like catered. Everything has to be brought in. So I don't even know if the rooms are outfitted for people to be staying in there. But she
Right,
said it is bare bones.
so it's more like a set, right? It's like a
Yes,
TV set, it's set up so that they can film everything, and that makes a lot more sense to me than yeah, like, we don't have to pretend like we're all staying there together and, those,
I
like,
know.
cutaway shots of them, like, in their rooms or whatever. That makes a lot more sense, and then MJ also shared that some of the challenges would take, like, 8 hours,
Yes.
and so
And yeah, there was one scene, I think, was it Candace who said this? That when Portia said, Candace, you told me, well, okay, I have to try to remember this
oh,
right. So they're in the
yes.
car, and
Mhm.
Candace said, well, she said Michael Rappaport said a housewife must be a traitor. Well, it was
Yeah, yeah.
something,
He
and
said,
Candace denied it.
yeah. Yes,
No, go ahead. What did he say?
Candace says, "Oh, Michael was like, let's put it in a housewives when they were taking the coffins and putting them in the graves. We've got to put it in a housewife." And Portia was like, "What? He said that?" And so then that's what she went and asked him.
Yes, and Candace said, if you heard, I think it was Candace who said, if you heard me, I said yesterday. The reason I said yesterday was when you watch it from a filming perspective, it all looks like the first episode was in a day. She said it took either 2 or 3 days to actually film. So there are
Oh.
some days where when you said 8 hours for a competition, all they do is film the competition that day. They don't film anything else. So I wonder if, like, okay, on Tuesday, you do the breakfast scene. So you're in that outfit. Then later Tuesday, you do the competition. Then Wednesday, you got to go back, and because you notice that they come back in that same outfit from
Yes.
breakfast. So you got to make sure you've got your hair and everything exactly the same for the next day when you're at the round table.
That is so interesting. I didn't think about that because then it's harder to remember. Oh, yeah, well, maybe I didn't really hear what she said
Yeah.
because that was yesterday. I can't even remember what I said like an hour ago, honestly.
I
You
know
know
it
what
does
I
make
mean?
sense, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, wait, tell me, you had something to tell me about Dorinda said something really interesting on a podcast about Lisa Renna.
Yes. So she said she was singing her praises. When I have something else I will share, I'll piggyback onto this. So she was saying
Okay.
that Lisa Rinna is just TV gold. She's perfect reality. I don't know why they ever took her off of Beverly Hills and replaced her with Amanda Francis. Which on that, I just have to say, Michael Rappaport was on Andy Cohen's show, and I'll go back to it real quick. He was on
No worries.
Andy Cohen's show, just saying that there was a scene of Dorinda, Caroline Stanberry, and is it Candace just going out? No, Dorinda. So Caroline Stanberry, Lisa Rinna, Dorinda just going at each other, and it was never shown on camera. So then whatever happened was resolved. So then for Dorinda to go back on our radio show this week and say that Lisa Rinna is great reality TV, and why did they replace her with Amanda Francis is interesting. So that was resolved.
Wow. And then that kind of gives hopefully you watched it, but that kind of makes sense of why Rena was like, "No, you won't. You're going back to Dubai, Carolyn."
Oh
Like,
yes, I didn't
right?
even.
Like she was all
You're
like
right.
bitchy about it. And so something must have happened,
Yes.
right? And maybe Dorinda and Carolyn went after her because she voted off Portia, which I still don't think.
So we differ on that. So what are
Yes.
you share your thoughts on Lisa voting off? at all.
Okay, I don't think she should have gone against a housewife. I don't think you do that, especially in the first round. I think, well, I know something that you don't know because I watched last night's
Oh, you
episode,
did
so I
watch.
can't tell
Okay.
you, but
Okay.
I want to hear why you think that that was like a fine
I
move.
think Lisa came into this game. I'm not a housewife. And I saw a clip somewhere where she said this, I'm more than a housewife. I think she came into this game knowing I know that housewives are targeted because they are an automatic and alliance. I don't want to be part of
Yeah,
that. So I'm going to show everyone from the beginning that I'm not going to be a part of that alliance automatically. But the problem with that is immediately after that happened, where she voted out Portia, Dorinda and is it Dorinda and Caroline are saying how I don't like how she did that. We always have
yeah,
to stick together. Housewives
yeah,
have to stick together. So you may be separating yourself, but then that what could have been automatic alliance is now no longer going to be supportive of you.
yeah, absolutely. How do you feel Rob is playing the game?
He's playing. I didn't watch Love Island, so I don't know Rob outside of this show, and I think he's doing amazing. He's understanding who the big personalities are. He's understanding how I can talk a little without talking too much. Because Lisa was getting, people are saying that's not. I don't remember who said it, but that's not typical Lisa. Lisa usually talks more. She's more
Yeah.
animated. She's being. Who said that? Do you remember who it was?
Um, Colton
Was
said
it
it to
Colton? Okay,
Dorinda, and Dorinda said, "Oh, yeah, I have noticed." So she was
yeah.
noticing that Lisa was quiet too. My thing is, maybe that's Lisa's gameplay is like, I'm not going to come in there and beat Lisa fucking Renna every 2 seconds. I'm just going to be, a little more. But she
Quiet.
is very like over the top at the breakfast. She's like, oh,
She
oh,
is with her fake
oh, right.
acting,
And I'm like, oh, Lisa, no, don't do that.
like
Rob,
that Beverly Hills episode where they're in
yes.
Mexico and she said Kim is close to death. And when she was confronted on it, she's like, I
I
don't
didn't
remember
say that. I
that
don't,
fake act,
yeah,
that
no,
soap opera acting.
I know. And I, at the beginning, she's like, I'm going to be great at this because I have all my acting experience. And I was like, uh huh, yes, you will. You should know that Rob was like the hot guy and he had like an instant connection with this girl that was the fan favorite everyone loved, and then he messed things up and didn't work out with them, and then everyone thought he was a gaslighter, and then like everyone hated him kind of, but they still thought he was hot.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically after Love Island, if you liked the other people, which I love, we didn't like
Yeah.
him. So now he's
Oh,
getting his like redemption edit, and
yeah,
everyone's like
really good.
loving him and people like don't know who he is. And so it's
Yeah.
interesting. And now I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, I forgive you for how you were on that other show. And not that he was even that bad, but just it's just interesting how these things happen.
Well, and I think he's coming off so well is because he's respectful of Lisa and Candace.
Mhm.
They are women that are older than him. He's having their back. But when they
Yeah.
sat down to play chess, they're respectful of him. So I don't know what I shouldn't say he respects them because you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a mutual respect. I can't say
Right.
one's
Yeah.
over the other, right? But he shows his respect for them. I love that he went back immediately and was like, look, so and so is talking about you. And this is what I said in response instead of
Yes.
he didn't really throw her under the table, but he did make a response, and I love that he shared how he responded to it. So it could never be twisted and be like, oh, well, you kind of threw her under the bus, or you agreed that she's not talking very much. He was able to say, this is what I said, which I thought was really important.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. And I think so far, well, that like conga line thing that Candace did, I was like, no, 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 don't do that, Candace. But I think Rob and Candace are playing really good as traders because
Yes,
she's made some really good alliances with faithfuls, and so has he.
yes.
So, it's like nobody's really thinking that they're the traders.
I wonder if Lisa really is uncomfortable at all. She doesn't seem herself. I mean,
I
I know I
know.
didn't watch last night's episode, so I don't know. But even Michael Rappaport was saying that in an interview, saying Lisa Rinna didn't seem herself. She had the sunglasses on, she was quiet. She's usually
Hmm.
more animated than she was. So I wonder if maybe she felt like, all right, here's my chance to come back into the Bravo world. I don't want to be like a Dorinda. I don't want to go out right away. But how do I play this without
Yeah.
getting caught immediately? You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what was wait, oh, you said something that I was gonna oh, remember was it last season or maybe the season before when Nikki Bella was on? And
Okay, yes.
they voted her out because they thought somebody was like, "Well, I thought you were like, oh, WWE wrestler with all this like charisma and you're like really quiet and just observe, like really quiet." And she was like, "No,
Oh.
that's how I am, but you thought I was this
That's an act.
performer." Yes, and I really connected with that because I have to I perform in my job and you have to be
Yeah.
on, right? But then like when you're not there, you don't want to be like that. So I'm like,
No.
maybe Lisa, we've always, we don't know what she's like at home. I mean, we
No, that's
assume that
true.
she is as, Lisa Renna from Real
Yeah.
Housewives of Beverly Hills, but maybe she is more like I've heard Steve Martin is really like not
Yeah.
funny in real life or like more of an
Yeah.
introvert, more of a like calm spirit at the
Yeah.
house. I
I
don't
have
know.
seen that
So,
a lot with a lot of these actors. You have to, like you
right?
said, you have to turn it on so much
Yeah.
because really watching Beverly Hills, Lisa has always been one of my favorites. She
Yeah.
has a kind heart. When you look at her relationship with Eileen, the way she interacts with people, she has a compassion that you don't always see with a lot of these housewives who are a little more
Yeah.
self-centered, in their own world. She always, when she talks to people, there is a kindness with her.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think that she's one of those people that's like, let's get it done. What's the
Mhm.
motivation in this scene? Let's make sure that we're entertaining. This is what our job is. Where then that got kind of,
Yes.
miscued where people were like, she's terrible. They want her off the show, booing her at BravoCon,
Yeah.
and the thing is, she was still bringing more her last season than Amanda Francis is bringing
Yes.
now.
I
And
was gonna
so,
say, yeah.
tying
Going
it
back
back
to that.
to that, yeah, I mean, Lisa Renna and I think for a long time I was like afraid to say how I really felt about her just because the fandom will come after you. But
Yes.
I am proud to say that she is like one of my favorite housewives and because look at what she created,
Yeah.
And I mean
She moves
Beverly,
story. She
yeah, she
moves
really
story, and it
does.
became too apparent. Although I'd be curious, I need to go back and watch her last season because if we're going to compare Lisa Rinna her last season when they asked her not to come back versus
Mhm.
Amanda Francis now, have you watched last night's Beverly Hills episode?
I didn't watch it yet.
Oh, I can't wait to discuss it when you watch.
Okay, I know, because I was
I know you're
like
not the
I was gonna
biggest
tell
fan
you
of
too.
it.
I was like, I watch Traitors, I can't watch Beverly Hills because I work really early and had no time, and I really
Yeah.
like to just kind of, like, get immersed in Beverly Hills. I can't
Yes.
watch it, like, when there's other stuff going on because I won't pay attention.
No,
So,
I get it. So
you
Amanda
know
Francis she's getting the attention because everybody dislikes her.
Mhm.
Everyone dislikes her, and we're all cringe. So while the show is getting attention, the women are uniting against her. So people are saying, would she come back another season? Because we are entertained. We are trying to
Yeah.
Google, Reddit, whatever, find out what's the deal with Amanda. And the women are slow. Like I saw a sneak peek for next week. Oh, they're now discussing with each other their thoughts about her and ways she's acted in previous events. So there is that is
Yeah.
entertaining. But does it beat out Lisa Rinna? Munchausen. I mean,
Right?
everything.
No.
No, no,
No.
it that you can't
No.
compare. You're basically, hate watching, dislike watching with Amanda Francis.
Yeah.
Whereas Lisa Rinna was creating storyline. The
And,
problem
I
with
mean
Lisa Rinna, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, what were you gonna say?
So the problem with Lisa Rinna was she had no story herself at the end. She was moving so like when I think of her last season, those last episodes, I think of Kathy Hilton and asking for the Michael Jackson song and
Oh,
Aspen and her tirade and Lisa Rinna
yes.
pushed hard to get that out. Whereas if we look back at Munchausen, it was kind of the same thing. Someone told her something, oh, let me bring this out on camera. And she played around with it a little and then kind of went back into her little shell, like, okay, this is not hitting. I'm not gonna push this. She didn't do that with Kathy. She was like, I'm going all out on this. I'm going to see Kyle's relationship with Kathy and make sure Kyle knows she shouldn't put up with this. And she just pushed it too hard.
Well, see, on that note, okay, so a good housewife is going to push story along, but they're also going to have their own storyline happening right throughout the season that's interesting and not just that like puff pieces or scenes that are like oh them with their family that are just like wonderful. But is Amanda Francis giving us anything? No. All we know about her, she's a businesswoman, she's a manifester. We haven't had any vulnerable scenes with her at all. We haven't had any
Oh, well,
scene.
wait
Oh,
for, yeah,
okay.
yes.
Cuz
Like
so
it is,
far there's,
no,
nothing.
but it's going to be interesting. I want you to watch it.
Okay.
For any other person, this is a very vulnerable topic. But for her, I can't figure out if it's just nerves of being on camera. And so it just comes off awkward. That's
Okay.
the best way to describe it. I think I put on threads after I watched the episode. I just put, well, that was awkward.
Okay. Oh,
And I
I
left it
saw
at that.
your post. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
okay. Oh, well,
It was
because
awkward encounters. This was the first time Andy Cohen said, get ready for this episode. It's a doozy. And I don't want to build it up too much for you because I know it's
okay.
my favorite and it's not necessarily your favorite show. So for me, it's like I'll probably rewatch the episode this weekend for anything I didn't catch. I didn't watch the after show, but I think you'll like it compared to previous episodes. I'll just leave it there.
Okay. 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 Awesome. Well, I think that's all we have for today. That was a lot.
Yay. It
We're going to
was.
be doing this every week. So, we'll be here. We'll let you know when we're going to do it, probably on Fridays, probably around this same time, depending. We're going to be flexible about this. It's not, I am Real Mel's of Bravo and
I am Bravo Bravo Books and Bravo here on YouTube or just booking around on TikTok.
okay. Thank you so much for listening and joining us. Comment any topics you want us to cover next week, what you want to hear from us, because we're literally both consuming Bravo content. I would say almost like 12 to 15 hours a day. Like when we're not sleeping, the Bravo content is just
Yes.
moving in.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
I'm all, how do I do this? Yay.